In the timeless stillness of eternity, where the gentle whisper of the breeze caresses mountains and valleys, lies the eternal essence of the Tao Te Ching, the ancient wisdom of the enigmatic sage Lao Tse. Embark on a journey beyond time and space, where each word resonates with cosmic harmony. Within these pages you will uncover the profound depths of the Tao, the foundational path that guides the universe in its boundless dance. From the mysteries of yin and yang to the intrinsic essence of humanity, each verse reveals a universal truth that transcends cultures and ages. Prepare to dive into an abyss of timeless wisdom where each ripple draws you closer to the core of existence. Are you ready to unlock the gates of perception and explore the mysteries of the Tao Te Ching? Let the voice guide you towards enlightenment on this extraordinary voyage to the essence of life. Chapter 1. The Tao that can be spoken is not the true Tao. The name that can be given is not its true name. What is nameless is the principle of heaven and earth. What has a name is the mother of all things. Thus, perpetual non-desire allows one to contemplate the great mystery, while the presence of desire allows one to observe its manifestations. Their appearance, both, emerges from the same origin but bears different names. Their identity is the mystery, and in this mystery lies the gateway to all mysteries. Chapter 2. Everyone considers beauty as beauty. This is how we know what is ugly. Everyone agrees that goodness is good. This is how we know what is evil. Therefore, being and non-being create each other, difficulty and ease complement each other, long and short form each other, high and low support each other, tone and voice harmonize. The sage acts without acting and teaches without speaking. Things rise and fall continuously. Thus he creates without waiting, works without seeking possession, accomplishes his work but does not claim credit for it, and precisely because he does not claim it, his merit endures eternally. Chapter 3. If one does not favor the virtuous, one avoids quarrels among the people. If one does not accumulate treasures, there will be no thefts. If one does not display what arouses desire, one avoids confusion of the hearts of the citizens. The sage therefore governs by emptying hearts, filling stomachs, and strengthening bones. He keeps citizens away from knowledge of evil and desire, and ensures that intellectuals do not have the opportunity to intervene. He who practices non-action then governs everything. Chapter 4. The Tao is an empty vessel, but its content never exhausts. Unfathomable and deep, it seems to be the origin of all things. The Tao softens the edges, unties the knots, softens the light, blends with the dust. It is deeply hidden but always present. I do not know whose son it is, for it seems older than God. Chapter 5. Heaven and earth have no compassion. To them, all things are like straw dogs. The sage also has no compassion. He sees people as straw dogs. The space between heaven and earth resembles a bellows. It is empty but does not exhaust. The more it moves, the more it produces. Talking too much is exhausting, so it is better to maintain inner emptiness. Chapter 6. The spirit of the valley never dies. It is called the mysterious female. Its entry door is the root of heaven and earth. Persevering, it seems to exist forever, and its content never exhausts. Chapter 7. Heaven is eternal, and earth is permanent. The reason why heaven and earth are eternal and permanent is that they do not live for themselves. That is why they live forever. The sage stays behind others, and therefore stands in front, detaching from his self. He preserves himself. It is not because he renounces his individuality that his individuality is realized. Chapter 8. The man of superior goodness is like water. The goodness of water serves all without conflict. It inhabits places that everyone dislikes. That is why it is close to the Tao. Therefore, supreme goodness resides in one who, by dwelling, embraces the earth, by meditating, goes deeply to the heart, by treating others, is kind and good, by speaking, is truthful, by governing, is honest and just, by working, is competent, by acting, is timely. If there is no struggle, there is no error. Chapter 9. It is better to stop in time than to fill the vase to the brim. If one continually sharpens the sword, it will not retain its sharpness for long. When gold and jade fill a room, no one can protect it. Having wealth and merits but being full of arrogance invites misfortune. To withdraw when the task is accomplished, that is the Tao of heaven. Chapter 10. Could you shape your body and soul to embrace unity without separation? Could you concentrate your chi and always remain flexible, become as gentle as a newborn? Could you purify your inner vision to remain free from defects? Could you love all men and govern the nation through non-action, capable of opening and closing the gates of heaven while respecting the role of woman, capable of not relying on your knowledge to obtain a clear vision in all things, in gender and nurture, have without possessing, work without asking for anything in return, lead without dominating? This is the primordial and mysterious virtue. Chapter 11. 30 spokes converge at the axis of the wheel, and it is this empty space that makes the cart useful. In shaping clay to make a vessel, its usefulness lies in its empty space. Opening doors and windows to create a room, and in its empty space lies its usefulness. Thus what exists gives birth to gain, and what does not exist to usefulness. Chapter 12. The 5 colors blind the eye, the 5 sounds deafen the ear, the 5 flavors dull the taste, the house and the races upset the mind, the treasures corrupt conduct. Therefore, the sage follows what he feels and not what he sees, therefore he rejects this and prefers that. Chapter 13. Favor and misfortune equally disturb. Wealth is a great suffering when one has a body. What does it mean that favor and misfortune equally disturb? Favor is something that diminishes. If you obtain it, you are surprised. If you lose it, you are also alarmed. This is what is meant by the fact that favor and misfortune equally disturb. What does it mean that wealth is a great suffering when one has a body? The reason why there is great suffering is one's own body. If I did not have a body, what suffering could I feel? Thus, one who esteems the world as much as the wealth of his own body can be entrusted with the world. One who is loving and uses his body to serve the world can be entrusted with the world. Chapter 14. It is called invisible because looking at it one does not see it. It is called inaudible because listening to it one does not hear it. It is called intangible because touching it one does not feel it. These 3 qualities are indefinable and together they make only one. At the highest, it is not bright. At the lowest, it is not dark. It is eternal and cannot be named. It returns to nothingness. It is formless form, imageless image, inaccessible to imagination. Looking at it face to face, you will not see its face. Following it, you will not see its back. Follow the Tao of the ancients to master the present reality, for the ability to know the ancient principle is the essence of the Tao. Chapter 15. The ancient masters were so subtle, mysterious, deep, and penetrating that they could not be known. Since they could not be known, one can try to discover them. They were cautious, as if crossing a stream in winter, cautious as if afraid of their neighbors, respectful as freshly arrived guests, docile as the sky about to break, simple as an uncarved piece of wood, vast and open as a valley, opaque as muddy water. Who can, in tranquility, slowly move from turmoil to clarity? Who can, in movement, slowly move from calm to action? One who follows this Tao does not desire to be complete, does not motivate himself by desires for change. Chapter 16. Reaching maximum emptiness is essential. Maintaining profound calm is the supreme principle. All things rise and fall, while each returns to it. They grow and prosper to return to their root. Return brings calm. Calm is the return to its destination. Returning to its destination is knowing eternity. Knowing eternity is being enlightened. Not knowing eternity leads to misery. Knowing constancy leads to tolerance. One who is tolerant becomes generous. One who is generous is heavenly. One who is heavenly identifies with heaven heaven leads to the Tao. One who becomes one with the Tao lives long, and even if the body dies, the Tao will never die. Chapter 17. When a great leader barely exists, he is known to the people. The next one who takes power is the one who is loved and praised by the people. Then it is the one they fear, and finally, the one they mock. If the leader does not trust himself, then no one will trust him. When tasks are accomplished and duties successful, all the people believe they live according to their own law. Chapter 18. When the great Tao is abandoned, goodness and morality appear. When wisdom is born in intelligence, hypocrisy appears. When there is no harmony in the family, devotion and paternal love appear. When the nation is very confused, loyal officials appear. Chapter 19. Abandon sanctity and wisdom, and the people will be 100 times better. Abandon goodness and morality, and the people will return to piety and filial love. Abandon cunning and profit, and thieves and bandits will cease to exist. But these three principles are not enough, so it is important to ensure that citizens have a place to belong. For this reason, observe simplicity, reduce selfishness, and moderate your desires. Chapter 20. Abandon study and you will no longer worry. What difference is there between yes and no? What difference is there between good and evil? Should I fear what others fear? How ridiculous they are not centered. Everyone is joyful, as if they were enjoying the sacrifice of animals, as when climbing terraces in spring. Only I am impassive, like someone who does not know where to go, like a newborn who does not yet know how to smile. Everyone has more than they need, but it seems that I alone have lost everything. I have the heart and mind of an ignorant person. Ordinary people have clear and brilliant ideas, only I seem confused. People have something to do, only I am very sad and dejected. Calm, I am like the ocean, drifting in the wind, as if there were a place to rest. Everyone has a purpose, only I am clumsy, stubborn. I seem petty and shallow, only I am different from all others because I value the mother who nourished me. Chapter 21. The greatness of all is possible only when following the Tao. The Tao is elusive and intangible. It is evanescent and intangible, but it has shapes within it, deep and dark, but within it resides essence. Its essence is real and true. In it resides the truth from the beginning of time to the present day. Its name has never been forgotten in this way. This is how I perceive the Creator, how I know the origin of creation, by this very thing. Chapter 22. What is twisted will be made straight, what is bent will be made level, what is empty will be filled, what is worn will be renewed. To have little and gain much, to have too much and be confused. Thus the sage embraces unity and becomes an example for the world. He does not show himself, which is why he stands out. He does not exalt himself for what sets him apart. He does not boast for what he achieves. He does not impose, which is why he holds power. No one fights against him because he makes war on no one. That is why the ancients say that one who is mistaken remains intact. How can these words be empty? This is the path that leads to fullness. Chapter 23. Speaking little is natural. Strong winds blow all morning. Rains do not last all day. Who does these things? Heaven and earth. Even heaven and earth cannot do eternal things. So how could man do them? One who follows the Tao is one with the Tao. One who follows virtue is one with virtue. One who follows retirement will know retirement. If you do not have enough confidence, you will have the confidence of no one. Chapter 24. One who stands on tiptoe does not maintain balance. One who takes long steps cannot go far. One who shows off does not stand out. One who seeks approval does not stand out. One who boasts of himself does not deserve merit. One who presumes does not endure. For one who follows the Tao, all this is excessive, like leftovers and unnecessary baggage. Material beings detest them, no matter what they are. That is why one who possesses the Tao stays away from them. Chapter 25. Something existed vaguely and mysteriously before heaven and earth were created, Without bottom or form, it remains alone, immutable and empty. It is everywhere and poses no danger. Perhaps it is the mother of the world. I do not know its name, but I call it Tao. If I were to try to name it, I would call it great. The great flows always. Its expansion carries it far. It is far and returns. The Tao is great. Heaven is great. Earth is great. Man is also great. In the realm, there are 4 great things, and man is one. Man follows the law of the earth follows the law of heaven follows the law of Tao. Tao follows its own law. Chapter 26. What is heavy is the root of what is light. Calm serves to govern agitation. Therefore, even if the sage travels all day, he does not stray from his baggage. Even if there are many things worth seeing, he remains vigilant and calm. So how can someone master 10,000 chariots and behave lightly in public? One who acts lightly loses his root. One who is agitated loses self-control. Chapter 27. A good walker leaves no traces. A good speaker does not err or offend. A good accountant does not need calculation tools. A good door does not need to be locked. However, it cannot be opened. One who knows how to tie does not need ropes or knots. That is why no one can undo what has been tied. Thus, the sage is always good in helping people, which is why he does not abandon them. He takes care of all things, which is why he does not abandon any. This is called following one's intuition. That is why one who is virtuous does not consider himself a master of men, and one who is not virtuous appreciates the good things of men. If the master is not respected, and the disciple does not listen, even if there is wisdom, there will be great confusion. This is the key to the mystery. Chapter 28. One who knows his masculinity and maintains his femininity is like the stream of the world. Being the stream of the world, virtue will never abandon him, and he will become a child again. One who knows his brilliance and maintains his darkness is an example for the world. One who is an example for the world always maintains virtue. One who knows his honor but maintains his humility is the valley of the world. Being the valley of the world, he will always be filled with virtue. When uncarved wood is split, it produces useful tools. When the sage uses them, he becomes a great officer of the government. That is why he knows that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Chapter 29. You would take possession of the world and control it, but I see that you have no choice. Now, the world is a divine vessel. It cannot be controlled. One who acts spoils it. One who grasps it loses it. Therefore, creatures are sometimes active, sometimes passive, sometimes they breathe heavily, sometimes they breathe easily, sometimes they are strong, sometimes weak, sometimes they are oppressed, sometimes they are overturned. Thus the sage eliminates extremes, eliminates extravagance, waste, and eliminates arrogance. Chapter 30. Whenever you persuade a ruler with the Tao, advise him not to use weapons or force to conquer the world. Every action provokes reactions. Only thorns and harps arise where great armies camp. After every war, years of scarcity follow. That's why the virtuous man is content with what he gets, does not abuse power, achieves results but does not boast, achieves results but does not glorify, achieves results but never becomes arrogant. For it is natural. When things reach their peak of strength, they begin to age. This is not the way of the Tao. What is contrary to the Tao has a premature end. Chapter 31. Weapons are harmful instruments. All creatures hate them. That's why one who follows the Tao does not use them. The virtuous man considers the left honorable, which is why he prefers the right. Weapons are harmful instruments, inadequate for the virtuous man. He uses them only as a last resort. He values calm and peace above all. Victory brings him no joy. It would be like finding pleasure in killing people. One who delights in killing people cannot obtain what he wishes from the world. That's why, in grand events, he honors the left. In sad events, he honors the right. Thus, the army commander stands on the left, and the Supreme General on the right. That's why we say that war is conducted like a funeral. When many people are killed, one must mourn with genuine sorrow. Victory in war must be regarded as a funeral. Chapter 32. The Tao in its eternity has no name. Though it is small, no one can conquer it. If nobles and kings could lead it, all would naturally obey them. Heaven and earth would then unite, releasing a gentle dew. There would be no citizens needing rules or teachings. They would find order within themselves. Thus, by dividing the whole, parts need names. Once names exist, men must also be prepared to know when to stop. Knowing when to stop avoids danger. Following the Tao in the world is like a stream flowing into a valley and becoming part of the ocean. Chapter 33. Knowing people is wisdom. Knowing oneself is enlightenment. Ruling others requires strength. Governing oneself is true power. One who knows that he has enough is rich. One who constantly strives is eager. One who does not lose his place endures. One who dies and does not perish is eternal. Chapter 34. The great Tao is like an immense river, able to extend to the left and to the right. All things owe their existence to it, and it refuses nothing to anyone. It accomplishes its task successfully, yet attributes no merit. It clothes and feeds all creatures, but does not act as their master. Therefore, since it is always devoid of desires, it can be considered small. We can call it great, because all creatures, though they are still ignorant of its sovereignty, depend on it. That's why the sage can achieve greatness, for precisely by not seeking to be great, he can truly be so. Chapter 35. If you are faithful to the original essence, the whole world will come to you seeking peace and calm. Music accompanied by fine dining may detain passing guests, but true Tao leaves the mouth sweet and flavorless. You observe it and see nothing. You listen to it and hear nothing extraordinary. It is used, yet never exhausted. Chapter 36. If you want to reduce something, you must first expand it. If you want to weaken something, you must first strengthen it. If you want to destroy something, wait until it fully blooms. If you want to see something, you must first know it. This is called the obscure perception of things. What is soft and weak prevails over what is hard and strong. Fish cannot escape the depths, nor should the souls of a nation be exposed to the people. Chapter 37. The Tao always practices non-action, yet it leaves nothing undone. If nobles and kings respected this, all things would develop themselves. If once developed, desire emerged in them, then they should be contained in simplicity. Without name or form, without form, there is no desire. If there is no desire, one can experience calm. Then the world would order itself. Chapter 38. A man of superior virtue does not try to be virtuous, which is why he possesses virtue. A man of inferior virtue strives to be virtuous, which is why he has no virtue. A man of superior virtue does not act or have goals to achieve. A man of inferior virtue acts and has goals to achieve. A man of the greatest kindness acts and leaves nothing undone. A disciplined man leaves many things undone. A man of rules, when he acts and receives no response, raises his arms to impose order. Therefore, when the Tao is lost, virtue appears. When virtue is lost, kindness appears. When kindness is lost, justice appears. When justice is lost, rights appear. Now rights presuppose the loss of trust and breed confusion. Superficial knowledge leads away from the Tao and is the beginning of stupidity and madness. Thus, the sage observes what is deep and not superficial, holds on to the fruit and not the flower. That's why he rejects the latter and accepts the former. Chapter 39. These are the things that reached unity in antiquity. Heaven reached unity by becoming pure and clear. The earth reached unity by becoming stable. The spirit reached unity by becoming powerful. The valley reached unity by becoming full. All beings reached unity and began to grow. Nobles and kings reached unity by becoming a model for the world. Things are possible only through unity. If heaven were not clear, it would break apart. If the earth were not stable, it would collapse. If the spirit were not powerful, it would be paralyzed. If the valley were not full, it would dry up and exhaust itself. If all things ceased to grow, they would disappear. If nobles and kings did not distinguish themselves, they would be overthrown. That's why humility has its roots in nobility. What is low serves as the basis for what is high. Thus, nobles and kings consider themselves orphans, solitary and unlucky. This does not mean, however, to regard humility as their root. The highest scent is that which has no intention. The sage does not desire to shine like jade or be hard like stone. Chapter 40. The movement of the Tao is the return. Weakness is the manifestation of the Tao. All things in the world are created from being. Being arises from non-being. Chapter 41. The superior disciple who listens to the Tao works hard and practices it. The average disciple who hears of the Tao seems to hold on to it until he loses it. The inferior disciple who listens to the Tao bursts into laughter. If he did not laugh, it would not be the true Tao. That's why the proverb says, "The Tao, when clear, seems obscure. The Tao, in advancing, seems to retreat. The Tao, as a flat path, seems difficult. The highest virtue seems like the bottom of a valley. The purest virtue seems like misfortune. The most abundant virtue seems insufficient. The firmest virtue seems weak. The most authentic virtue seems false. The perfect image has no angles. The talented man appears late. The highest tone can barely be heard. The greatest image has no form. The Tao is hidden and nameless. Only the Tao can begin things and bring them to fulfillment." Chapter 42. The Tao creates the One. The One creates the Two. The Two create the Three, and the Three create all things. All things carry the Yin and embrace the Yang. By uniting them, they achieve harmony. What people hate most is to be alone, orphaned, solitary, and unlucky. However, that is how kings and nobles are named. That's why things decrease to increase, and in increasing, they decrease. I also teach what people teach. Violent men do not die in peace. That is the essence of my teaching. Chapter 43. The softest things in the world overcome the hardest things. What is not enters where there are no cracks. That's why I know that non-action is beneficial. Teaching without words and working without doing anything in the world can be compared to that. Chapter 44. Fame or the individual, which is more important? The individual or wealth, which is worth more? Gain or loss, which is more painful? He who attaches himself to things suffers greatly. He who saves will suffer great losses. He who is content with little will never be discontented. He who knows when to stop avoids danger and will always live in safety. Chapter 45. Great accomplishment seems incomplete, yet its usefulness never exhausts. Great fullness seems empty, yet its content is inexhaustible. Great straightness seems crooked, great skill seems clumsy. Great eloquence seems inarticulate. Movement overcomes cold, stillness overcomes heat. Purity and stillness bring order and justice to the world. Chapter 46. When the Tao reigns in the world, horses pull carts through the dung. When the Tao departs from the world, horses are bred on the plains. There is no greater flaw than being swept away by desire. There is no greater misfortune than never being satisfied. There is no greater flaw than ambition. That's why one who knows what is sufficient will always have enough. Chapter 47. You don't need to go out the door to know the world. You don't need to look out the window to know the way of heaven. The farther you go, the less you know. Thus, the sage does not travel, but learns, does not expose himself, but has a reputation, does not act, but achieves. Chapter 48. The one who practices study sees his knowledge increase every day. The one who practices the Tao sees his knowledge decrease every day. It decreases and decreases until it reaches non-action. He uses non-action, and nothing remains undone to seize the world. He never interferes with its course. If you find yourself compelled to interfere, then you are not fit to seize the world. Chapter 49. The sage does not have a constant mind, for he adopts the minds of others. To be virtuous with the virtuous and also with those who are not is the highest virtue. To be loyal with the loyal and also with those who are not is the highest loyalty. The sage is simple and humble. Even when confusion reigns in the world, the people pay attention to him, and the sage treats them all as his children. Chapter 50. Life is an outing and death an entrance. 3 out of 10 follow life, 3 out of 10 follow death. 3 out of 10 are those who, while alive, only draw closer to death. What is the reason? They cling to life. I've heard that one who knows how to live does not fear the rhinoceros or the tiger when traversing the mountains, nor does he carry weapons or armor when entering enemy territory. The rhinoceros has nowhere to plant its horns. The tiger has nowhere to use its claws. The weapon has nowhere to apply its edge. What is the reason? For him, there is no place where death can enter. Chapter 51. The Tao creates virtue, nurtures things, gives them form, perfects energy. That's why no being fails to respect the Tao and honor virtue. Respecting the Tao and honoring virtue is not a requirement. It happens naturally. Thus all things are born of the Tao, nourish it, take form, are guided, welcomed, sheltered, cared for, supported and protected. Creating without possessing, acting without seeking recognition, leading without governing, that is the primal and mysterious virtue. Chapter 52. The origin of the universe is the mother of the world. One who finds the mother knows the children. One who knows the children returns to the mother. Then danger disappears. Block your senses, shut your door, and you will not weaken all your life. Open your senses, succeed in your duties, and you will have no respite all your life. Seeing the insignificant is insight. Maintaining weakness is strength. Use your light to turn inward. It will keep you away from misfortune. That is called following the Tao. Chapter 53. If I correctly use the little knowledge I possess while traveling on the Great Way, the only thing I need to fear is straying from the path. The Great Way is long and tranquil, but citizens prefer winding paths. Although the royal court is well maintained, the fields are covered in weeds, and the granaries are empty. At court, they wear luxurious clothing, carry sharp swords, gorge on drinks and food, and have an excess of wealth and goods. That is called theft and extravagance, and it leads us away from the Tao. Chapter 54. What is well established will not be uprooted. What is well united will not be separated. Thus, children and grandchildren will forever honor the ancestors. Cultivate virtue within yourself, and virtue will be true and real. Cultivate it in the family, and virtue will abound. Cultivate it in the people, and virtue will endure forever. Cultivate it in the nation, and virtue will be abundant. Cultivate it in the world, and virtue will be everywhere. So, observe others from your own self, other families from your own family, other peoples from your own people, other nations from your own nation, other worlds from your own world. How do I know the world is like this? By this. Chapter 55. One who is full of virtue is like a newborn child. Wasps, scorpions, and serpents will not sting him. Fierce beasts will not attack him. Birds of prey will not claw him. Even though his bones are weak and his muscles soft, he is firm and strong. He has not yet experienced the union of man and woman, yet he possesses the fullness of his sperm. His virility is perfect. He cries all day, yet does not become hoarse. He has perfect harmony. To know this harmony is to approach eternity. To know eternity is to attain enlightenment. Beneficial life speaks of good fortune. The heart and mind that create qi speak of strength. When things become strong, they age. This is not the Tao's way. Anything contrary to the Tao has a premature end. Chapter 56. One who knows does not speak. One who speaks does not know. Guard your senses, close your mouth, soften the sharpness, untangle the knots, dim your glare. Become humble like dust. This is the mysterious union with the Tao. Therefore, one cannot win by being friendly. One cannot win by being unfriendly. One cannot win by profiting. One cannot win by causing harm. One cannot win by boasting. One cannot win by being humble. This is therefore the most precious thing in the world. Chapter 57. Use honesty and justice to govern a nation. Use surprising and unusual tactics in times of war. Use non-action to take possession of the world. How do I know it's like this? By this. The more prohibitions and taboos, the poorer the citizens. The sharper and higher quality the swords, the more disorder there will be in the nation. The more intelligence, the more strange things will start to happen. As long as there are more laws and decrees, more thieves and bandits will exist. That's why the sage says, I use non-action, and citizens reform themselves. I cultivate tranquility, and citizens improve themselves. I live without occupation, and citizens become rich. My desire is to have no desires, and citizens naturally return to goodness and simple life. Chapter 58. With a tolerant and flexible government, the people are simple. But with a severe and vigilant government, the people become cunning. Disgrace rests in fortune, and fortune rests in disgrace. One who knows the point of balance avoids arbitrariness. Honesty becomes dishonesty. Goodness becomes perversion. Men have long lived in illusion. That's why the sage is honest and does not divide. He is honorable and does not harm. He is simple and does not get carried away by excess. He is brilliant, but does not dazzle. Chapter 59. To govern men and serve heaven, nothing is better than moderation. Only with moderation can one be prepared to face events. One who quickly obtains submission accumulates much virtue. With a good accumulation of virtue, then everything can be overcome. When everything can be overcome, then nothing is impossible. With nothing impossible, there are no limits. If there are no limits, you can possess the nation. By possessing the nation, you can endure forever. This is called having a deep source and a solid base. The Tao's way gives a long life and eternal vision. Chapter 60. Governing a nation is like cooking a small fish. If you govern the world according to the Tao, the deceased do not wander like spirits. It's not that the deceased cease to be spirits, but their power will not be able to harm men. Not only does their spirit harm men, but the power of the sages never harms them. Since these two do not harm each other, their virtue becomes one with the Tao. Chapter 61. A great nation is like the lowest places where water can flow. That is where the fusion of all that exists is found, the mother of the world. The feminine always uses tranquility to overcome the masculine. A great kingdom lowers itself before the small and thus conquers it. A small kingdom lowers itself before the great and thus enlarges itself. One wins by lowering oneself, and the other by remaining low. A great kingdom desires only to recruit and nourish people. A small kingdom desires only to provide work for its people. For both kingdoms to get what they desire, the greater one must be below. Chapter 62. The Tao is the depth of all beings. It is the treasure of a virtuous person and the protection of a non-virtuous person. Beautiful words win honors. Beautiful deeds benefit men. If a man is bad or errs, do not abandon him. That is why at the coronation of the emperor or the appointment of the 3 nobles, rather than offering jade discs on a 4-horse chariot, it is better to follow the Tao. What was the reason the ancients valued the Tao? Because being one with the Tao, when you seek, you find. When you make a mistake, you are forgiven. That is what makes the Tao most precious for the world. Chapter 63. Practice non-action. Try not to be busy with anything. Appreciate what has no flavor. Consider the great as small. Multiply the few. Respond to insult with kindness. Seek difficulty in ease. Discover greatness in the small. In the world, difficult things start out as easy. In the world, great things start out as small. That is why the sage always considers everything as difficult, and thus he never has difficulty. Chapter 64. What is peaceful is easy to sustain. What has not yet been revealed is easy to control. What is still fragile is easy to break. What is still small is easy to disperse. Influencing what does not yet exist. Governing what is not yet disorderly. A tree too large to be embraced was born from a small bud. A 9-story tower arose from a mound of earth. A journey of 1,000 miles began with a single step. One who acts will fail. One who clings to something will lose it. That is why the sage never takes his desires seriously, has no interest in the most precious goods, does not cling to his own ideas, and thus returns to the path that all others have already traveled, thus aiding the natural evolution of all beings, but without daring to act. Chapter 65. The ancients who knew the Tao did not use it to enlighten the people, but to guide them on the path of simplicity. If the people are difficult to govern, it is because they have too much knowledge. Therefore, using knowledge to govern the nation ruins the nation. One who does not rule it by knowledge brings happiness. One who always understands these things knows deep and mysterious virtue. Deep and mysterious virtue goes against the flow of things, thus reaching great harmony. Chapter 66. The reason rivers and seas are superior to valleys is because they know how to stay beneath them. Likewise, the sage who wishes to rise above his people must lower himself before them in speech. If he wishes to be at the head of the people, he must place himself at the end. That is how the sage stays at the top, and the people do not feel oppressed. When he stands in front, no one is harmed, everyone is pleased to help him and does not tire of him. Since he competes with no one competes with him. Chapter 67. Everyone says my Tao is great and cannot be compared to anything. Because it cannot be compared to anything, it can be great. If it resembled something, it would have become insignificant long ago. I possess 3 treasures to which I hold dearly. The first is compassion, the second is moderation, the third is not desiring to be first. Therefore, with compassion, one can become courageous. With moderation, generous, with humility, one achieves leadership. Pretending to be courageous without love, being generous without moderation, and being first without humility leads to death. When compassion is used in war, the consequence is victory. When it is used for protection, the consequence is strength. This is the means by which heaven protects us, as if it were a rampart. Chapter 68. The best soldier is not belligerent. The best warrior is not violent. The best conqueror does not engage in battles. A great leader always acts in service to others. This is called the virtue of not fighting. This is called the wisdom of the ancients who attain unity with heaven. Chapter 69. A military proverb says, I dare not be the host, I prefer to be the guest. I dare not advance an inch, I prefer to retreat a step. This is called advancing without movement, rolling up one's sleeves without baring one's arms, encircling the enemy without deploying, defending as if one were unarmed. Therefore, when 2 similar armies meet, the one that does it, afflicted by war, prevails. Chapter 70. My words are very easy to understand and very easy to practice, but there is no one in the world who can understand them, nor anyone who can practice them. My words have an origin, my actions have a master. Since no one knows them, no one understands me either, and since those who understand me are few, that is the greatest value. That is why the sage who wears tattered clothing carries a jewel in his heart. Chapter 71. Knowing that knowledge is ignorance is honorable, being ignorant of knowledge is like suffering from a disease. Now, when you are sick with the disease, you will not really be sick. The sage is not sick precisely because he suffers. That is the secret of health. Chapter 72. When citizens do not fear their authority, then horror is imminent. Do not limit their dwellings or despise their means of livelihood. But if you despise them, they will not tire of you. Thus the sage knows himself but does not show himself, loves himself but is not arrogant, rejects the latter, and chooses the former. Chapter 73. One who is brave and reckless will die. One who is brave but not reckless will survive. Of these two attitudes, one is beneficial and the other detrimental. Some things are detested by heaven. Who knows the reason? The path of heaven does not strive, it skillfully achieves its goals. The Tao of heaven does not fight, that is why it easily triumphs. This observation invites us to meditate on the deep nature of the Tao, which acts subtly and silently, yet nonetheless powerfully and ubiquitously. The Tao, compared here to a celestial net, is present everywhere and at all times, encompassing all existence with universal benevolence. Its greatness and scope are infinite, yet it operates without fanfare or ostentation, acting in harmony with the natural flow of the universe. Just as the net of heaven, which captures everything within it effortlessly, the Tao embraces and nurtures each being with equal care, without distinction or discrimination. Its understanding transcends the bounds of speech and thought, and those who align themselves with the Tao are in perfect harmony with the cosmos. By following the path of the Tao, we too can open ourselves to its subtle guidance and discover deep and lasting peace within our being. Chapter 74. If citizens do not fear death, what is the use of using death to scare them? Suppose citizens always fear it, and if the violation of the law means the maximum penalty, who would dare to violate it? Indeed, assuming the responsibility of ending another's life, whether in the name of justice or punishment, is a task fraught with consequences. Just as one who would presume to take the place of the experienced carpenter in carving wood, one who would take on the role of executioner risks inflicting serious harm, not only physically, but also morally and spiritually. For taking another's life, even in justified circumstances, leaves an indelible mark on the soul and spirit of the one who executes it. It can engender an unbearable emotional burden and even lead to remorse and inner torment that haunt the individual for the rest of their life. Therefore, the wisdom of the Tao teaches us to seek peaceful solutions and promote reconciliation rather than vengeance. By understanding the sacred value of each life and practicing compassion and forgiveness, we can contribute to creating a world where justice is rendered without resorting to violence, where redemption is possible for all, and where peace and harmony reign supreme. Chapter 75. Citizens go hungry because their superiors eat too much of their taxes. Hungry citizens are difficult to govern. Thus, their superiors are forced to govern. Indeed, in the perpetual pursuit of happiness and immediate gratification, individuals tend to overestimate the value of life and neglect the lessons that death can teach them. This cycle of inequality and its consequences reverberate through societies, echoing the imbalance caused by excessive consumption and unchecked power. When those entrusted with leadership prioritize personal gain over the welfare of their people, the fabric of community frays and discontent festers among those left wanting. Hungry citizens, struggling to meet basic needs, find themselves marginalized and disempowered, their voices drowned out by the clamor of privilege. In response, governance becomes a precarious balancing act, a delicate dance to appease and pacify rather than to inspire and uplift. Leaders, burdened by the weight of societal unrest and the consequences of their own excesses, are compelled to confront the realities they have perpetuated. The mandate to govern shifts from a position of authority to a mandate of necessity, driven by the urgency to restore equilibrium and regain legitimacy in the eyes of the governed. Yet, amidst these challenges, a deeper reflection beckons. The pursuit of happiness, often synonymous with material wealth and fleeting pleasures, obscures the profound wisdom that can be gleaned from acknowledging the impermanence of life. In our relentless quest for immediate gratification, we may overlook the lessons that death offers, the reminder to live with intention, to cherish each moment, and to cultivate compassion and empathy for others. The Tao teaches us to embrace a more holistic perspective, one that transcends individual desires and embraces the interconnectedness of all beings. It calls upon us to practice moderation and to prioritize the well-being of the collective over individual gain. By aligning our actions with the principles of harmony and balance, we contribute to a more just and equitable society where every citizen's basic needs are met and where governance is guided by integrity and compassion. In this way, we honor the lessons that death can teach us, not as a source of fear or avoidance, but as a catalyst for reflection and transformation. By cultivating a deeper understanding of our interconnectedness and our shared responsibility to one another, we pave the way for a future where hunger is alleviated, governance is just, and happiness is rooted in the well-being of all. But the wisdom of the Tao lies in recognizing the impermanence of all things, including life itself. By accepting the reality of death as an integral part of the cycle of life, we can learn to appreciate each moment and live fully without becoming excessively attached to ephemeral pleasures or material possessions. In the embrace of this profound truth, we find liberation from the grasp of fear and anxiety that often accompany thoughts of impermanence. Instead of viewing death as an end, the Tao teaches us to see it as a natural transition, a return to the eternal essence from which we all arise. This perspective shifts our focus from the fleeting to the timeless, from the transient to the enduring. By acknowledging the inevitability of change and embracing the wisdom of the Tao, we cultivate a deep sense of gratitude for the present moment. We learn to treasure the simple joys of everyday life, the warmth of the sun on our skin, the laughter of loved ones, the beauty of nature's ever-changing canvas. These moments become precious pearls strung along the thread of our existence, each one imbued with meaning and significance. Moreover, the Tao guides us to live in harmony with the natural rhythms of life, accepting both its joys and its sorrows with equanimity. Just as the seasons cycle through birth, growth, decay, and renewal, so too do our lives unfold in cycles of growth and transformation. Through this understanding, we discover resilience in the face of adversity and strength in moments of uncertainty. In releasing our attachment to ephemeral pleasures and material possessions, we uncover a deeper sense of fulfillment rooted in spiritual growth and inner peace. The pursuit of lasting happiness shifts from external acquisitions to internal cultivation of virtues such as compassion, kindness, and wisdom. These qualities enrich our lives and ripple outwards, creating positive impacts that transcend individual boundaries. Ultimately, by embracing the wisdom of the Tao and accepting the impermanence of all things, we awaken to the profound interconnectedness of life. We recognize that each moment is a precious gift, a chance to contribute positively to the world and leave a lasting legacy of love and compassion. In this way, we honor the timeless wisdom of the Tao and embody its teachings in our journey towards wholeness and harmony. Therefore, those who understand the transitory nature of life are better prepared to face challenges and setbacks with courage and serenity, knowing that death is not the end, but rather a transition to another state of existence. By cultivating this perspective, individuals can find a sense of inner peace and a greater appreciation for the simple and precious experiences of life. This awareness fosters a deeper connection with the present moment, allowing them to live fully and authentically. They become more resilient, embracing life's ebb and flow with grace and understanding. In the face of adversity, such individuals do not succumb to despair, but instead view obstacles as opportunities for growth and self-discovery. They learn to navigate life's uncertainties with a calm and open heart, recognizing that every ending is a new beginning and every loss carries the seed of renewal. Moreover, this enlightened outlook encourages a more compassionate and empathetic approach to relationships. Understanding the impermanence of all things, they cherish their loved ones more deeply and prioritize meaningful connections over superficial pursuits. This shift in focus leads to richer, more fulfilling interactions and a profound sense of belonging and purpose. As they continue to explore the depths of this wisdom, they become beacons of tranquility and inspiration to others. Their presence exudes a quiet strength, offering comfort and guidance to those around them. By embodying the principles of acceptance and mindfulness, they contribute to a more harmonious and connected world. Ultimately, embracing the transitory nature of life transforms not only the individual's inner landscape, but also the broader tapestry of human experience. It is through this profound acceptance and understanding that one can truly appreciate the beauty and impermanence of existence, finding joy and meaning in each fleeting moment. Chapter 76. Man is soft and weak at birth, but when he dies, he becomes hard and inflexible. This transformation mirrors the journey of life itself, a progression from vulnerability to resilience, from innocence to experience. In infancy, the human spirit is tender and impressionable, eagerly absorbing the world's wonders with wide-eyed curiosity. As time passes and experiences accumulate, strength and determination emerge, shaping character and fortitude. Plants and trees, too, follow a similar cycle of existence. Born soft and fragile, they unfurl delicate leaves and tender shoots, embracing the sun's warmth and the earth's nourishment. Yet, as seasons shift and time marches on, they weather storms and endure droughts, their once supple branches hardening with age. In their final days, leaves turn crisp and petals fade, a testament to the passage of time and the inevitability of life's transient beauty. This natural ebb and flow of life offers profound insights into the human condition. It teaches us to embrace vulnerability as a source of strength, for it is through adversity that resilience is forged. Just as the softness of infancy gives way to the strength of adulthood, so too does humility and openness pave the way for wisdom and maturity. Moreover, this cycle underscores the interconnectedness of all living things. Just as humans and plants share a common trajectory of growth and decline, so too do we share a responsibility to nurture and protect the fragile ecosystems that sustain life on Earth. By honoring the natural rhythms of renewal and decay, we can cultivate a deeper reverence for the interconnected web of existence. In contemplating the softness of birth and the hardness of death, we are reminded of the impermanence that defines our earthly journey. It encourages us to cherish each moment, to savor the sweetness of youth and the wisdom of age, knowing that each phase contributes to the richness of our personal narrative. Ultimately, by embracing the lessons of softness and strength inherent in the cycle of life, we cultivate a deeper understanding of our own humanity and our place within the tapestry of creation. We learn to navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience, honoring the transformative power of vulnerability and the enduring spirit of growth. That is why the proverb says that hardness and inflexibility are attributes of death, while softness and weakness are attributes of life. In this subtle balance between flexibility and strength, the deep wisdom of the Tao is revealed, for it is in flexibility that true power resides, and in the ability to adapt to change that the key to resilience lies. Just as the wind bends the branches of the tree without breaking them, the Tao teaches us the importance of bending with the circumstances of life, rather than stubbornly resisting. By embracing softness and flexibility, we find the strength necessary to overcome challenges and reach new heights. Softness does not denote weakness, but rather resilience, the ability to bend without breaking, to adapt to changing circumstances, and to flow with the currents of life's complexities. It is in this yielding quality that true strength emerges, for it allows us to navigate obstacles with grace and perseverance. In the battles of life, those who embrace the Tao find in it a reliable guide and a source of inexhaustible strength. The Tao teaches us the art of non-resistance and effortless action, guiding us to discern when to yield and when to assert, when to advance and when to retreat. This wisdom empowers us to move through challenges with discernment and wisdom, finding solutions that are harmonious and effective. Moreover, in personal growth, the Tao offers a profound pathway to self-discovery and transformation. By embracing its principles of simplicity, patience, and compassion, individuals cultivate inner peace and clarity. They learn to release attachments and expectations, allowing their true nature to unfold organically. This inner alignment fosters a deep sense of fulfillment and authenticity, enabling them to evolve and expand beyond perceived limitations. Through the Tao, we learn that true strength lies not in brute force or rigidity, but in the gentle power of understanding and harmony. It encourages us to cultivate virtues such as humility, kindness, and resilience, which fortify our character and enrich our relationships. Thus, by embracing the Tao, we not only discover a path to personal fulfillment, but also contribute to the greater harmony of the world around us. In essence, the Tao is not merely a philosophy or a set of principles, it is a living wisdom that resonates with the rhythms of life itself. It teaches us to embrace change as a natural part of existence and to find strength in our ability to adapt and grow. By aligning ourselves with the Tao, we embark on a journey of continuous learning and transformation, guided by its timeless wisdom and boundless potential. Chapter 77. The Tao of Heaven is like drawing a bow. What is high descends, what is low rises, what is reduced is increased, what is in excess is diminished. The Tao of Heaven removes what is superfluous and fills what is insufficient. In its wisdom, it balances the scales of existence with effortless precision, ensuring that each facet of life receives exactly what it needs to thrive. Like a skilled gardener pruning unnecessary branches to promote growth, the Tao discerns the essential from the extraneous, harmonizing the natural order with subtle grace. In contrast, the Tao strips away the illusions of abundance from those who hoard without purpose, redistributing resources to restore equilibrium. This act of gentle correction serves as a reminder that true wealth lies not in accumulation, but in the ability to share and nurture the well-being of all. Who can have too much and offer it to the world? Only one who possesses the Tao. The sage, enlightened by the Tao's profound insights, understands that excess is a burden rather than a blessing when it disconnects from the flow of harmony. With clarity of purpose and a heart open to compassion, the sage transforms surplus into generosity, enriching the lives of others with humility and grace. Through the sage's example, the Tao manifests as a force of universal benevolence, guiding individuals toward a deeper understanding of interconnectedness and shared responsibility. By aligning with the Tao, one transcends the narrow confines of selfish desire, embracing a path of service and stewardship that benefits the greater whole. In this way, the Tao becomes a living principle, inspiring humanity to cultivate virtues of moderation, empathy, and sustainable abundance. It encourages us to evaluate our relationships with material wealth and spiritual fulfillment, guiding us towards a balanced existence where giving and receiving are harmonized in perfect accord. Thus, by embracing the Tao's teachings, individuals discover a profound sense of purpose and fulfillment. They recognize that true prosperity arises not from amassing possessions, but from cultivating a heart that overflows with compassion and a spirit that radiates generosity. Through this transformative journey, guided by the Tao's timeless wisdom, they contribute to the creation of a world where abundance is shared equitably and all beings flourish in harmony with the natural rhythms of existence. That is why the sage acts but does not concern himself with the results, accomplishes his tasks but does not attach himself to them, and does not seek to flaunt his virtue. For the sage understands that true fulfillment lies not in the recognition or accolades of others, but in the integrity and sincerity with which actions are carried out. In this understanding, the sage embodies humility and detachment, knowing that outcomes are often beyond individual control. By focusing on the present moment and the purity of intention behind each action, the sage remains grounded in the essence of virtue itself, rather than its external manifestations. Furthermore, the sage's ability to act without attachment liberates him from the burdens of ego and ambition. Free from the need for validation or praise, the sage moves through life with a quiet confidence and inner strength. His actions arise naturally from a deep alignment with the Tao, guided by wisdom and compassion. In choosing not to flaunt his virtue, the sage exemplifies the principle of simplicity and sincerity. He understands that genuine virtue speaks for itself, influencing others through quiet example rather than overt display. By embodying these principles, the sage inspires others to cultivate their own inner virtues and to seek fulfillment through authenticity and self-awareness. Thus, the sage's approach to action reflects a profound harmony with the Tao, where intentions are pure, actions are effortless, and virtue is embodied without pretense. In this way, the sage becomes a beacon of wisdom and guidance, showing others the path to inner peace, harmony, and true fulfillment in life. Chapter 78. In the world nothing is softer and weaker than water, yet only it can shape what is hard and strong. Nothing can replace it. Weakness overcomes strength. Softness overcomes hardness. Everyone knows this, but no one can put it into practice. That is why the sage says, only one who accepts the disgrace of the nation is capable of governing it. Only one who bears the humiliation of the nation deserves to be called the king of the world. Although these words may seem paradoxical, they speak the truth. The sage's wisdom transcends conventional understanding, delving into the profound depths of leadership and governance. In a world often driven by pride, ego, and the pursuit of power, the sage offers a revolutionary perspective. To govern with true effectiveness and compassion, one must first embrace the vulnerabilities and challenges faced by the people. Only by understanding and accepting the nation's disgraces and humiliations can a leader connect deeply with their struggles and aspirations. This acceptance is not weakness, but strength, an acknowledgement of the realities that shape collective identity and destiny. It requires humility to listen to the voices of the marginalized, empathy to feel their pain, and courage to address systemic injustices. The sage teaches that genuine leadership arises from a place of profound empathy and responsibility, where the well-being of the nation and its people takes precedence over personal glory or prestige. Moreover, the sage's words challenge the conventional notions of kingship and global influence. True leadership, according to the sage, is not about dominance or imposing one's will upon others, but about serving with integrity and humility. It is about fostering unity, healing wounds, and nurturing a collective sense of dignity and pride. In embracing these paradoxical truths, leaders can forge a path towards genuine reconciliation and progress. They become catalysts for positive change, inspiring trust and cooperation among diverse communities. By embodying the sage's teachings, they elevate their role from mere rulers to compassionate stewards of a nation's destiny. Ultimately, the sage's words invite reflection and transformation. They urge leaders to rise above self-interest and embrace a higher purpose, to govern not for personal gain, but for the greater good of all. In doing so, they earn the respect and admiration that truly makes them worthy of being called the king of the world, not through conquest or domination, but through humility, compassion, and unwavering dedication to justice and harmony. Chapter 79. Despite reconciliation after an injustice, some resentment remains. How to avoid this? That is why the sage respects his part of an agreement, but does not demand payment from his debtors. Having virtue is honoring agreements, lacking virtue is seeking to strip others. The Tao of Heaven, in its infinite magnanimity, makes no partisan choices. On the contrary, it remains impartial, offering its support indiscriminately to all those who follow the path of virtue. It is in this impartiality that its greatness lies, for it recognizes the inherent value of every human being, regardless of their circumstances or social status. This universal benevolence of the Tao extends beyond human comprehension, encompassing the entirety of existence with its nurturing embrace. Like the sun shining equally upon all landscapes, regardless of their terrain or beauty, the Tao radiates its essence of harmony and balance to all who seek its guidance. In the embrace of the Tao, distinctions of wealth, power, or fame fade into insignificance. What truly matters is the sincerity of one's heart and the integrity of one's actions. Those who align themselves with the Tao find themselves lifted by its gentle currents, guided towards a life of purpose and fulfillment. Moreover, the impartiality of the Tao serves as a profound reminder of our interconnectedness and shared humanity. It teaches us to transcend superficial divisions and recognize the fundamental unity that binds us all. In the eyes of the Tao, every individual is a unique expression of divine creation, deserving of love, compassion, and respect. Through its impartiality, the Tao inspires us to cultivate virtues such as kindness, generosity, and empathy. It encourages us to extend a helping hand to those in need, without prejudice or expectation of reward. In this way, we contribute to the creation of a more just and harmonious world, where the dignity and worth of every person are upheld and celebrated. As we align ourselves with the Tao's impartial wisdom, we discover a profound sense of peace and acceptance. We learn to embrace life's challenges with equanimity, knowing that the Tao supports us unconditionally on our journey of growth and self-discovery. With each step we take on the path of virtue, we draw closer to the essence of the Tao, experiencing firsthand its boundless love and transformative power. In essence, the Tao's impartiality invites us to transcend our limited perceptions and embrace a broader, more inclusive vision of humanity. It invites us to cultivate a heart that is open and receptive, capable of embodying the universal virtues that unite us all. Through the practice of virtue and alignment with the Tao, we contribute to the realization of a world where compassion, justice, and harmony prevail, a world that reflects the infinite magnanimity of the Tao of Heaven. By embracing all individuals with universal fairness, the Tao of Heaven inspires harmony and justice in the world. Its impartiality transcends human biases and prejudices, recognizing the inherent dignity and worth of every person. In the embrace of this cosmic principle, diversity flourishes and conflicts dissolve as people unite under the common umbrella of mutual respect and understanding. Thus, virtuous men and women, guided by the timeless principles of the Tao, find in it a faithful ally, a steadfast force that supports them in their unwavering quest for goodness and righteousness. Rooted in the Tao, they navigate life with clarity and integrity, knowing that their decisions are guided by a wisdom that transcends individual desires and fleeting emotions. By following the Tao, these individuals not only cultivate inner peace, but also gain the profound assurance that their actions are aligned with the natural order of the universe. They harmonize effortlessly with the ebb and flow of existence, embodying virtues such as compassion, humility, and courage in their interactions with others. In their pursuit of virtue, they become beacons of light, illuminating paths of righteousness and ethical conduct for others to follow. Their presence radiates a sense of calm and stability, offering solace and inspiration to those who seek guidance in turbulent times. Through their example, they demonstrate the transformative power of aligning one's life with the universal principles of the Tao. Moreover, as they deepen their understanding of the Tao, these virtuous individuals recognize the interconnectedness of all beings and the intricate web of cause and effect that binds the universe together. They embrace the notion that every thought, word, and action carries ripple effects that resonate far beyond immediate circumstances, shaping the collective destiny of humanity. In essence, the Tao of Heaven serves as a timeless guidepost for humanity, a beacon of wisdom that transcends cultural boundaries and temporal constraints. It calls upon each individual to embrace fairness, kindness, and justice in their interactions with others, fostering a world where harmony and mutual respect prevail. Through the practice of virtue and alignment with the Tao, people awaken to their highest potential, contributing to the creation of a more compassionate and harmonious global community. Chapter 80. In a small nation with few citizens, even if tools can work 10,000 times faster than men, they do not use them. It is necessary to ensure that citizens take death seriously and do not migrate far away. Even if they have boats and chariots, no one uses them. Even if they have armor and weapons, no one displays them. Citizens return to using knotted ropes instead of resorting to writing. They find pleasure in their food, beauty in their clothes, security and tranquility in their homes, and happiness in their customs. In this idyllic society shaped by the wisdom of the Tao, simplicity reigns supreme. The people have transcended the allure of material excess and superficial displays of wealth or power. Instead, they cherish the innate beauty of their daily lives, finding joy in the simple pleasures that nourish the soul. Without the need for ostentation, boats and chariots remain idle, symbols of a bygone era when status was measured by possessions. Armor and weapons, once symbols of defense and aggression, gather dust as conflicts give way to peaceful resolutions and mutual understanding. The return to knotted ropes over writing, signifies a return to essential communication, where words are spoken and understood with clarity and sincerity. The simplicity of this method fosters deeper connections among neighbors and communities, promoting harmony and unity. Amidst this return to simplicity, the people rediscover the profound satisfaction found in everyday experiences. They savor the flavors of their meals, prepared with care and shared with loved ones. Their clothing reflects not extravagance, but elegance in its simplicity, enhancing their natural beauty and comfort. Their homes, free from unnecessary adornments, provide a sanctuary of security and tranquility. Here, amidst familiar surroundings and cherished belongings, they find solace and peace of mind. Their customs, rooted in traditions of respect and mutual support, nurture a sense of belonging and community spirit. In embracing the principles of the Tao, this society thrives not through accumulation, but through appreciation. They value relationships over possessions, inner contentment over external validation. Their happiness springs from the harmony they cultivate within themselves and with the world around them. Thus, in this utopian vision guided by the Tao, the people embody a profound wisdom that transcends material wealth and superficial desires. They have unlocked the secret to true fulfillment, a life enriched by simplicity, gratitude, and a deep reverence for the natural order of existence. Even if neighboring nations can be seen from afar, and the crowing of cocks and the barking of dogs can be heard, there are no relations. That is why citizens grow old and die without knowing each other. In this seemingly paradoxical scenario, where proximity does not translate into connection, the fabric of society remains woven with threads of isolation and distance. Despite the visible presence of neighboring nations and the audible signals of life around them, the bonds of community and kinship fail to materialize. The distant vistas of neighboring lands serve as a constant reminder of the potential for interaction and exchange, yet geopolitical boundaries and cultural barriers prevent meaningful connections from forming. The crowing of cocks at dawn and the barking of dogs at dusk punctuate the rhythm of daily life, echoing through the landscape as reminders of shared existence. However, these natural sounds do not bridge the divide that separates individuals and communities. As a result, citizens lead lives that unfold in parallel, yet distinct paths. They navigate their days without the familiarity of shared stories or the comfort of communal bonds. Each person grows older in their own sphere of existence, their journeys marked by personal triumphs and tribulations, yet devoid of the deeper connections that enrich the tapestry of human experience. Without meaningful relationships, the passage of time becomes a solitary journey, where moments of joy and sorrow are experienced in isolation. There is a poignant sadness in the realization that lives unfold alongside each other, yet without the intertwining of hearts and minds that create lasting bonds of friendship and solidarity. Yet amidst this solitude, there exists a profound opportunity for reflection and introspection. Citizens may find solace in the quiet moments of contemplation, discovering inner reserves of strength and resilience. They may cherish the simplicity of their routines and the serenity of their surroundings, finding beauty in the fleeting moments of everyday life. In this landscape of distant neighbors and muted connections, there lies a potential for renewal and reconciliation. By transcending boundaries, both physical and emotional, citizens can forge pathways towards understanding and unity. They can cultivate empathy and compassion, reaching across divides to build bridges of mutual respect and cooperation. Ultimately, the absence of relations serves as a poignant reminder of the importance of fostering meaningful connections and nurturing communal ties. It prompts individuals and nations alike to strive for inclusivity, dialogue, and mutual understanding. For in the tapestry of humanity, it is through genuine connections that we find meaning, purpose, and collective strength to face the challenges of an interconnected world. Chapter 81. True words are not beautiful. Beautiful words are not true. One who has virtue does not argue. One who argues does not have virtue. One who knows is not erudite. One who is erudite does not know. The sage does not accumulate things, for in serving others he has more than he needs. Material possessions hold little sway over the sage, whose wealth lies in the richness of his relationships and the depth of his compassion. By dedicating himself to the well-being of others, he discovers a profound sense of abundance that transcends mere material wealth. The Tao of Heaven is beneficial and not harmful. It operates with a gentle, nurturing force that sustains and supports all beings. Like the sun's warmth and the rain's nourishment, the Tao showers its blessings impartially upon the earth, fostering growth and harmony. Its influence is subtle yet pervasive, guiding the cycles of nature and the rhythms of life with effortless grace. The Tao of the sage acts but does not struggle. In embracing the natural flow of existence, the sage aligns his actions with the Tao's unfolding. He moves with clarity and purpose, unencumbered by resistance or force. Each decision and effort arises organically from a place of deep inner harmony, where intention and action merge seamlessly. By embodying these principles, the sage becomes a beacon of wisdom and tranquility in a world often fraught with conflict and striving. His presence inspires others to cultivate simplicity, humility, and a deep reverence for the natural order. Through his example, he demonstrates that true fulfillment arises not from the accumulation of possessions or the pursuit of power, but from living in alignment with the Tao's timeless wisdom. As the sage navigates life's complexities with grace and equanimity, he invites others to embrace a similar path of inner peace and authenticity. He encourages them to let go of attachments and expectations and to trust in the inherent goodness of the Tao's guidance. In doing so, he fosters a community of mutual respect and support, where each individual contributes to the collective well-being with compassion and integrity. Ultimately, the sage's approach to life reflects a profound understanding of the interconnectedness of all things. He recognizes that by serving others selflessly and aligning with the benevolent nature of the Tao, he not only enriches his own existence, but also contributes to the harmony and balance of the universe. In this way, the sage embodies the timeless teachings of the Tao, offering a path of wisdom and fulfillment for all who seek it.